Francis placed a stone image of the baby Jesus. He surrounded the manger with real animals. And there is a legend that at night, on Christmas Eve, animals even had the gift of speech. The gift was bestowed because the humble farm animals gave the infant Jesus his first shelter and warmed him with their breath. Thus they were rewarded with the gift of human speech. St. Francis, who loved animals because they too were God's creatures, extended special kindness to animals at Christmas. He urged farmers to provide their oxen and donkeys with extra rations of corn and hay for the reverence of the Son of God, whom on such a night the Blessed Virgin did lay down in the stall between the ox and the donkey. So at Christmas tide, St. Francis scattered crumbs of bread under the trees so the tiny creatures could feast and be happy. Thomas of Celano, who was the first biographer of St. Francis, would say that Francis at his time would also say, often meditate on the desolation of Christ and his Holy Mother with tears. And he maintained that poverty was the queen of the virtues, as she had become so radiantly manifest in the king and his mother. Francis's love and compassion for the suffering and passion of Christ were so deep that he no longer cared about his own pain. In fact, in the year after this celebration, he will be so identified with the suffering Christ that the 5 wounds appeared in his body. Saint Bonaventure, who was Francis' second biographer, said of the scene, many brothers and good people came at Francis's bidding, and during the night the weather also was beautiful. Many lights were kindled, songs and hymns were sung with great solemnity, so that the whole world echoed with the sound. And the man of God stood by the manger, filled with the utmost joy and shedding tears of devotion and compassion. By his order, the manger had been so arranged that Mass was celebrated on it. But St. Francis had a vision. The simple celebration was not the first time the birth of Jesus was celebrated in a dramatic way. But Francis showed a difference. He wanted to show the hardships Jesus suffered already as an infant. In the daring phrase of St. Paul, he was the emptying of the glory of the Son of God, born of a gentle mother, but still thrown upon a story and a resistant world. Francis wanted to realize and help people realize exactly what God had done for his people and how people, the poor, he chose to be for our sakes. Francis himself had chosen the bitter poverty of being on the margin of society with no resources or security. He saw the Son of God placing himself, as it were, on the margin of divinity. He saw a truly human Jesus, not a divine being hidden behind a deceptive physical facade. The humility of the incarnation and of the cross was his constant preoccupation, and he wanted to think of nothing else, Bethlehem and Calvary. His life centered then around poverty and humility. These were, he called them, sister virtues. He told his friars not to be ashamed to beg, since God himself became poor for our sakes.